My dear students, welcome back to our channel. In this video, I will be explaining the BCA third semester subject Environmental Science as prescribed by Osmania University and other universities of Telangana. We will go through the important questions and answers one by one. Let's begin with a quick revision. Unit 2 first important short question is: what is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is a community where living organisms, plants, animals, and microorganisms interact with each other and with their non-living surroundings, air, water, soil, and sunlight. It is like a small world where everything depends on each other to survive. In simple words, an ecosystem shows how plants, animals, and environment work together to maintain balance in nature. Energy flows from the sun to plants, then to animals, and finally to decomposers, keeping the cycle going. Example: a pond ecosystem includes water, sunlight, fish, frogs, algae, insects, and bacteria. Plants produce oxygen and food, fish eat smaller insects, and decomposers like bacteria break down dead plants and animals, returning nutrients to the water. Ecosystems can be small like a pond or large like a forest, desert, or ocean. Easy way to remember: ecosystem is equal to nature plus living beings plus interaction. Everything in nature is connected, and each part is important for life. Next important short question is: 2. Structure of ecosystem. The structure of an ecosystem refers to the way all its components, living and non-living, are organized and connected. It has two main parts: biotic, living, and abiotic, non-living components. 1. Biotic components, living things. Producers, green plants that make their own food through photosynthesis. Consumers, animals that eat plants, herbivores, or other animals, carnivores. Decomposers, bacteria and fungi that break down dead plants and animals into nutrients. Example: in a forest, trees are producers, deer are herbivores, consumers, and fungi are decomposers. 2. Abiotic components, non-living things. Sunlight, air, water, soil, temperature, and minerals. These provide the environment where living organisms survive and interact. Simple way to remember: ecosystem is equal to living things plus non-living things plus their interaction. Example: in a pond ecosystem, water, sunlight, and minerals are abiotic, fish, plants, and bacteria are biotic. They all interact to keep the pond alive and balanced. The structure shows how energy and nutrients flow between living and non-living components, maintaining balance in nature. Next important short question is: 3. Producers and consumers. In an ecosystem, living organisms are classified based on how they get their food. The two main groups are producers and consumers. 1. Producers. Producers are green plants that make their own food using sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide through photosynthesis. They form the base of all food chains because all other organisms depend on them. Example: grass, trees, algae, and crops like wheat and rice. 2. Consumers. Consumers are animals that cannot make their own food. They eat plants or other animals for energy. Consumers are divided into: herbivores, eat plants, example, cow, rabbit. Carnivores, eat other animals, example, tiger, snake. Omnivores, eat both plants and animals, example, human, crow. Example: in a farm ecosystem, grass is a producer, a cow eating grass is a herbivore, and a human eating milk or meat is a consumer. Simple way to remember: producers make food, consumers eat food. Producers capture solar energy, and consumers transfer that energy through the food chain, maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. Next important short question is 4. Decomposers. Decomposers. Decomposers are organisms that break down dead plants, animals, and waste materials into simpler substances. They are very important because they recycle nutrients back into the soil, which helps plants grow. Without decomposers, dead matter would pile up, and nutrients would be lost from the ecosystem. Examples of decomposers. Bacteria and fungi are the most common decomposers. Earthworms and some insects also help in decomposition. Example: when a fallen leaf decomposes, fungi and bacteria break it down into nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. These nutrients enrich the soil, helping new plants to grow. Simple way to remember: decomposers is equal to nature's cleaners. They keep the environment clean, recycle nutrients, and maintain the balance of the ecosystem. Key point: producers make food, consumers eat it, and decomposers return nutrients to the soil, completing the cycle of life. Next important short question is 5. Food chains. A food chain is a simple linear sequence that shows how energy and food move from one organism to another in an ecosystem. It always starts with a producer, usually a plant, and moves to consumers and finally to decomposers. How it works. 1. Producers make their own food using sunlight. 2. Primary consumers, herbivores, eat the producers. 3. Secondary consumers, carnivores or omnivores, eat the herbivores. 4. Tertiary consumers eat other carnivores. 5. Decomposers break down dead organisms and recycle nutrients back to the soil. Example of a food chain. Grass, grasshopper, frog, snake, hawk. Decomposers. Grass is the producer. Grasshopper is the primary consumer. Frog is the secondary consumer. Snake is the tertiary consumer. Hawk is the top predator. Bacteria and fungi decompose dead organisms. Simple way to remember: plants make food, animals eat plants, bigger animals eat smaller animals. Decomposers recycle nutrients. Food chains show how energy flows in an ecosystem and help maintain balance in nature. They are the basic building blocks of food webs. Next important short question is 6. Land as a resource, land degradation. Land as a resource and land degradation. Land is one of the most important natural resources. It provides space to live, grow food, build houses, factories, roads, and forests. Land supports agriculture, forests, wildlife, and human settlements, making it essential for life. Land degradation. Land degradation is the decline in land quality caused by human activities or natural processes. When land loses its fertility, becomes infertile, or cannot support vegetation, it is called degraded land. Causes of land degradation. Deforestation. Overgrazing by animals. Overuse of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Mining and construction activities. Soil erosion by wind and water. Example: in parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat, overgrazing and deforestation have caused the soil to become dry and infertile. Simple way to remember: land gives us food and shelter. If we misuse it, it becomes useless. To prevent degradation, we should practice afforestation, crop rotation, controlled grazing, and proper irrigation. Protecting land ensures sustainable agriculture and a healthy environment for future generations. Next Unit 2. Long questions. First important long question is: Describe basic concepts of ecosystem. Basic concepts of ecosystem. An ecosystem is a natural unit where living organisms, plants, animals, and microorganisms interact with each other and with non-living components, air, water, soil, sunlight. It is like a self-sustaining community where everything is connected and energy and nutrients move in a balanced way. Ecosystems can be small, like a pond, or large, like a forest, desert, or ocean. 1. Components of an ecosystem. A. Biotic components, living things. Producers, green plants and algae that make their own food using sunlight through photosynthesis. Consumers, animals that depend on plants or other animals for food. They are classified as herbivores, eat plants, example, cow, rabbit. Carnivores, eat animals, example, tiger, snake. Omnivores, eat both, example, humans, crow. Decomposers, bacteria and fungi that break down dead plants and animals, returning nutrients to the soil. B. Abiotic components, non-living things. Sunlight, air, water, soil, temperature, and minerals. They provide the environment where living organisms survive and interact. 2. Energy flow in ecosystem. Energy comes from the sun, captured by producers, plants, passed to primary consumers, herbivores, then secondary and tertiary consumers, carnivores, and finally decomposers recycle nutrients back to the soil. This energy flow maintains balance and supports life. 3. Nutrient cycling. Decomposers break down organic matter, releasing nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. These nutrients are reused by plants, creating a cycle of life. 4. Balance in ecosystem. Each organism has a role. Removing even one species can disrupt the ecosystem. For example, overfishing in a pond reduces fish numbers, affecting frogs, snakes, and birds that depend on them. Example. In a pond ecosystem. Producers, algae, water plants. Consumers, fish, frogs, insects. Decomposers, bacteria, fungi. Abiotic factors, water, sunlight, minerals. Easy way to remember. Ecosystem is equal to living plus non-living plus interaction plus energy flow plus nutrient cycle. Understanding ecosystems helps us protect nature, maintain biodiversity, and ensure sustainable life on Earth. Next important long question is: 2. Describe the functions of ecosystem with reference to energy flow. Functions of ecosystem with reference to energy flow. An ecosystem is a system where living organisms interact with each other and with their environment. One of the most important functions of an ecosystem is the flow of energy, which supports life and maintains balance in nature. 1. Energy capture. The sun is the primary source of energy for all ecosystems. Producers like green plants and algae capture sunlight through photosynthesis and convert it into chemical energy, food. This energy becomes available to all other organisms in the ecosystem. Example, grass in a field uses sunlight to make food. 2. Energy transfer. Energy flows from producers to consumers through a series of feeding relationships called a food chain. Primary consumers, herbivores, eat plants. Secondary consumers, carnivores, eat herbivores. Tertiary consumers eat secondary consumers. At each step, some energy is lost as heat, but the remaining energy moves to the next level. Example, grass, grasshopper, frog, snake, hawk. 3. Role of decomposers in energy flow. Decomposers like bacteria and fungi break down dead plants and animals, returning nutrients to the soil. This makes nutrients available for plants, completing the energy cycle. Example, fallen leaves and dead fish in a pond are decomposed by bacteria, enriching the water with nutrients for algae. 4. Maintaining ecosystem balance. Energy flow ensures that producers, consumers, and decomposers are connected. It helps regulate population sizes, nutrient availability, stability of the ecosystem. Disruption in energy flow can disturb the ecosystem. For example, killing too many predators can cause herbivore populations to explode, which may destroy plant life. Simple way to remember. Sun plants herbivores, carnivores, decomposers, nutrients, plants. Energy flow is the backbone of an ecosystem, supporting life, recycling nutrients, and maintaining balance. Understanding this helps us protect ecosystems and use natural resources wisely. Next important long question is 3. Ecological pyramids. An ecological pyramid is a graphical representation of the relationship between different organisms in an ecosystem, showing how energy, biomass, or the number of organisms decreases at each successive level of the food chain. It helps us understand the flow of energy and the structure of ecosystems. Types of ecological pyramids. 1. Pyramid of numbers. Shows the number of organisms at each trophic level. Usually, there are more producers than consumers. Example, in a grassland, thousands of grass plants support hundreds of herbivores, like rabbits, which in turn support a few carnivores, like foxes. 2. Pyramid of biomass. Shows the total mass of living organisms at each level. Usually, producers have the highest biomass and top carnivores have the least. Example, a forest with large trees, producers, supports many herbivores like deer, which are eaten by few tigers. 3. Pyramid of energy. Shows the energy available at each trophic level. Energy decreases from producers to top consumers because some energy is lost as heat at each level. Example, sunlight energy captured by grass is partly lost when eaten by grasshoppers, less energy reaches frogs and snakes. Importance of ecological pyramids. Helps understand energy flow in an ecosystem. Shows dependence of higher trophic levels on lower levels. Helps in conservation planning. If producers decrease, the whole ecosystem is affected. Simple way to remember. Base is big, top is small, energy and organisms decrease as you go up. Example for easy understanding. Grassland ecosystem. Producers, grass, largest base. Primary consumers, grasshopper, fewer than grass. Secondary consumers, frog, fewer than grasshoppers. Tertiary consumers, snake, very few. Quaternary consumers, hawk, smallest number. This shows clearly that energy and numbers reduce at each step, making the ecosystem stable. Ecological pyramids help students visualize the balance of nature, the importance of producers, and the impact of human activities on food chains. Next important long question is 4. Aquatic ecosystem, ponds, streams, lakes, rivers, oceans, estuaries. Aquatic ecosystem. An aquatic ecosystem is a water-based ecosystem where living organisms interact with each other and with water, sunlight, minerals, and other environmental factors. Aquatic ecosystems are classified into freshwater and marine ecosystems, depending on the salt content of water. 1. Freshwater ecosystems. These contain low salt content and include ponds, streams, lakes, and rivers. Ponds, small, still water bodies with plants like lotus and animals like fish, frogs, and insects. Streams, flowing water bodies, support algae, aquatic insects, and small fish. Lakes, larger still water bodies, contain fish, aquatic plants, and waterfowl. Rivers, large flowing water bodies, provide habitat for fish, crocodiles, and water birds. Example, Dal Lake in Kashmir, Lake, Ganga River, River. 2. Marine ecosystems. These contain high salt content and include oceans and estuaries. Oceans, largest ecosystem, covering 70% of Earth. Home to whales, dolphins, plankton, and coral reefs. Estuaries, areas where rivers meet the sea, mix of fresh and salt water. Highly productive, supporting crabs, fish, and migratory birds. Example, Sundarbans estuary in West Bengal. Characteristics of aquatic ecosystems. Water temperature, sunlight, and oxygen levels influence the type of organisms. Plants can float, like water lilies, sink, like algae, or be submerged. Animals are adapted to swimming, floating, or living at the bottom. Functions and importance. Provide habitat for aquatic life. Maintain water cycle and oxygen balance. Source of food, water, and livelihoods for humans. Support recreation and tourism. Simple way to remember. Fresh water is equal to ponds, streams, lakes, rivers. Salt water is equal to oceans, estuaries. Example for easy recall. In a pond, algae, producers, feed insects, primary consumers, which feed fish, secondary consumers, and decomposers recycle nutrients, showing how energy flows in aquatic ecosystems. Aquatic ecosystems are vital for life on Earth, providing food, oxygen, and climate regulation, and need protection from pollution and overuse. Next important long question is 5. Renewable and non-renewable energy sources. Energy is essential for daily life, industries, transport, and agriculture. Based on availability, energy sources are classified as renewable and non-renewable. 1. Renewable energy sources. These are naturally replenished and do not run out if used wisely. They are cleaner and environmentally friendly. Examples of renewable energy sources. Solar energy from the sun, used for electricity, heating, and cooking. Wind energy from moving air, powers wind turbines. Hydropower from flowing water in rivers and dams, generates electricity. Biomass energy from plants, crop waste, and animal dung used for fuel. Geothermal energy from heat inside the earth, used for heating and electricity. Example, solar panels in villages of Rajasthan provide electricity from sunlight. Advantages: renewable, eco-friendly, reduces pollution. 2. Non-renewable energy sources. These are limited in quantity and will run out after use. They are often harmful to the environment due to pollution. Examples of non-renewable energy sources. Coal used in power plants and industries. Petroleum, crude oil used in vehicles, industries, and factories. Natural gas used for cooking, electricity, and industries. Nuclear energy from uranium and thorium generates electricity. Example, India uses coal in thermal power plants to produce electricity, but it produces smoke and greenhouse gases. Disadvantages: finite, causes pollution, and contributes to global warming. Simple way to remember. Renewable is equal to unlimited and green, non-renewable is equal to limited and polluting. Conclusion. Renewable energy is the future, as it is sustainable, eco-friendly, and helps fight climate change. Non-renewable energy must be used carefully and efficiently to avoid environmental problems and energy crisis. Easy example to recall. Sun and wind is equal to renewable can be used repeatedly. Coal and oil is equal to non-renewable, limited and harmful. Switching to renewable energy sources is essential for sustainable development and protecting the earth. Next important long question is 6. Soil erosion and desertification. Soil erosion and desertification are major problems that reduce the quality and productivity of land, affecting agriculture, biodiversity, and human life. 1. Soil erosion. Soil erosion is the removal of the top fertile layer of soil by natural forces like wind, water, and glaciers, or by human activities such as deforestation and overgrazing. The topsoil is rich in nutrients essential for plants, so its loss reduces soil fertility. Causes of soil erosion: deforestation, cutting trees; overgrazing by livestock; heavy rainfall or flooding; strong winds in dry areas; poor farming practices, example, plowing along slopes. Example, in the Himalayan foothills, heavy rains wash away farmland, causing landslides and reduced crop yield. 2. Desertification. Desertification is the process by which fertile land turns into desert due to soil erosion, drought, overgrazing, deforestation, or climate change. It reduces the land's ability to support life. Causes of desertification: continuous drought; unsustainable farming practices; overuse of groundwater; deforestation and loss of vegetation cover. Example, large areas of Rajasthan and parts of Gujarat are affected by desertification, where fertile soil has become sandy and dry. Effects of soil erosion and desertification: loss of fertile land for agriculture; reduced water-holding capacity of soil; lower crop yields; increased frequency of floods and droughts; damage to ecosystems and biodiversity. Prevention and control: planting trees and vegetation, afforestation; contour farming and terrace cultivation on slopes; crop rotation and cover crops; building check dams and retaining walls; controlled grazing and avoiding overuse of land. Simple way to remember: soil erosion is equal to washing away fertile soil, desertification is equal to land turning into desert. Easy example: if a bare hillside loses topsoil due to rain, erosion, over time, it may become dry, infertile land, desertification. Protecting soil is essential for food security, environmental balance, and sustainable development, making soil conservation a top priority in India.